this is going to be really great having Kenny today. I'll mention about him here a little bit further on when people get joined on, but it's just awesome that Kenny would take the time. He is so busy, he's such a busy guy. Well, I mean, normally he flies over 300 days a year with NAR. He's that busy. But because of COVID, he's been in Utah for the last several months with his family. So yeah, he's actually been enjoying it.
Yeah, kind of cool.
Kind of. I mean, Kenny loves getting out and about and going. He went to my inaugural. He's probably the most popular individual in AR and probably the most giving person. I mean, there's a lot of giving people, but he is just so recognizable and just out there and always helping people, and he's the guy that doesn't say no.
So it'll be fun to have him on here this morning.
Well, let's jump into it. I mean,
let's kick it off.
Speaking of Erica, I believe I switch over to welcome our new agents. If you're new, please introduce yourself in the comments. Say, hey, yay, I'm with Equity now, or something. Give yourself a shout out. Normally we give you a little e-pin, and we'll get that to you. We might have to start mailing these. This is taking a little longer than I thought.
Pop them in the mail. Yeah, for sure.
So our newest members to the team, welcome Andy Wiles, Sue Choi, Lauren Miles, Erica LaBath, and David Anderson. And I know that several of you guys are here today, so that's awesome. So, like I said, give yourself a pat on the back for being here and shout out in the comments section. We're super glad to have you guys here. Mm-hmm. So that's awesome. And want to always thank those that introduce people to our company. So Wes Parsons referred Andy, who joined, and then Will Davis referred David Anderson. So thanks so much, guys. That's how we grow, is just word of mouth and trying to take good care of you guys and keep growing. So that's what we're doing. So thanks so much. Paul found this. I think this is a great quote here. Beautiful picture too. Challenges are what make life interesting. Overcoming them is what makes life meaningful. By Joshua Marine. I mean, that's very, as Paul said, appropriate for today's world. So I hope you guys maybe post that on your Facebook page today and share that with someone else. I think that's
that's impactful.
Yeah, very impactful. So very nice. Thanks, Paul, for finding that. What do you got, Stacy?
So just a couple updates with the market. We are starting to see things fuel, which I'm sure a lot of you are feeling.
Yes.
So just a couple of the stats from last week, actually. Instead of looking at the full month of May, I just want to take you week by week. So last week, closings were actually up 19%.
19%
over the previous week.
Yes,
thank you for clarifying. So last week it was up 19% over the previous week. We're still down 38% compared to the same time last year. But,
and that's closings. I mean, we've been open now, what? 3 weeks?
2
weeks? I mean, where we can actually show. Yeah,
exactly. So I think that's really good news. So new listings last week compared to the previous week were up 16%. Which is great because we need some new listings. Buyers are really struggling to find inventory right now. But compared to last year, we're still down 5%. So that's why we're seeing 19 offers on houses, 16 offers on houses, 30 grand over asking price. We're still seeing those multiple offers. And that's why our pendings were up 7% compared to the previous week, which is 18% higher than last year.
Wow. That's so we need that. I mean, our closings in the month of May were down about 38%, and this
is not that bad.
No, not. I mean, we shut us down. But let you guys figure out how to keep doing business, which is amazing. It was not a standstill. I believe we closed 60 some transactions in our office. Last year is about 100, 105, something like that. So. Yeah, it did not stop.
But that 18% up in pending contracts compared to the same time last year lets you know that buyers have confidence. They're out there in droves. They're looking for properties. And typically when we start to see things taper after the school year gets out, that's not going to be the case. It's going to fuel into June and into July. And I think we're going to have a really, really good summer. So we should see those closing numbers pop up the end of this month and the beginning of next month because the pending sales are so high right now.
But just the last 2 days, I mean, the beginning of June was one closing a day, maybe two closings, and I'm used to seeing 5, 6 closings in a day.
So yeah, they're going to start.
The last 2 days, we've had 15 closings. So I think as this month goes on, we're just going to see more and more and more, and multiple. I mean, you guys are selling, multiple houses. Kristen Wiley, I saw, she had 2 closings yesterday. Mario, he had like 4 in the last week and a half. I mean, I don't want to leave anyone out, but you guys are busy. I mean,
well, and just in our DTC office from June 1st to today, there have been 54 contracts written for buyers. So in a 10-day period, 54 offers have been written.
I mean,
by you guys. That's a lot.
And when we were shut down, we were doing 10, 12 in a week. So 54 written contracts. That's not all accepted.
Right.
Because we know it's challenging. And we've done how do you compete? How do you get your offers accepted? Will did a wonderful job. It's saved on the YouTube channel. But we might do that again on a Tuesday talk because it is so prevalent.
It's so tight right now.
It's hard.
So tight. So then the other thing for those that like to see the closed sales price, our median sales price last week was $435,000. That's median, not average. That was down 1% from the week previous, but that's up 1% compared to last year. So our prices are continuing to go up.
Which is, you guys need to know these stats because you do hear people talk in the town is, people are getting out and needed to sell their houses and reduce and maybe somewhere else, not here in the Denver metro area. That is not what's happening.
Yeah, and the DMAR stats came out. We put those in the weekly update email that hit your inbox on Monday. Read that report and read the Market Insights page just so that you are knowledgeable on what went on throughout the month of May. So awesome. There is your statistical recap.
Great. Let's go back to my little sheet.
Oh, and one other thing I did want to throw in, it's not really related to stats, sorry. I've just been getting a lot of questions about, hey, when they modified the Safer at Home order on June 1st, did they modify anything for real estate? And the answer is no. Everything still stays in place with real estate the way it was coming into May, really. So no in-person open houses. That's been the biggest question. Can we start doing open houses? When are those allowed? You can do your virtual open houses, your video tours, your Matterport tours, but no in-person open houses, and we don't see that opening up anytime soon. So
no real changes. You want to make sure that that's all working over there. Just double check. So back to this again. I'll just read it one more time. Challenges are what make life interesting. Overcoming them is what makes life meaningful. Yeah, that's awesome. So the next little update for you guys. Affiliated business disclosure. I am no longer requiring you to do this on listing transactions. So I thought it would be easier for us to monitor, to make sure that we're in compliance, because I can really get in trouble if these things aren't turned in. We really got to let people know that, hey, we have a mortgage company. If you use it, great. If you don't, great. That's okay. We've got to let people know, and it has to be done on the buyer side. I put it on the listing side just so that it's easy. It's just something we all do. And some of you are like, it's confusing my seller. They're selling. Right. They're not buying. So I removed it. I'm trying to make your life easier for you guys. We listen
to your feedback, and we always appreciate your feedback. So
yeah, that's out of the packet. That's done. Anything you need to add on to that, Paul? It's already updated, right?
Yep, already updated. You're all good.
Awesome. So that is a quick little update. This is an interesting update. You guys probably got this yesterday. The RE Colorado and Iris data exchange. So as many of you know, I think this has been going on for over 4 years now.
It's been a long time.
Where they were sharing data with Iris and RE Colorado, and then RE Colorado wanted to buy out Iris, and Iris didn't want to buy out, so they wanted to do a merger. And that went through the boards and meetings, and it was just It was a ton of work and it got nowhere. And during that whole time, Iris members didn't have RE Colorado information and we didn't have Iris's information, and you had to join multiple boards if you wanted to cover the entire northern metro area all the way up to Fort Collins. They reversed. I don't have any great clear information. I sent an email to our CEO at Smedra going, oh my gosh. I mean, I think it's, for agents, I think it's a good thing as
Yeah.
far as let's just have the information. Let's share it.
Make it readily
Make
accessible.
it readily accessible. I don't know all the behind the scenes what happened. I'm no longer on the board, so which I'm kind of grateful that I didn't have to be part of this last thing. Anyway, it's a good thing for you guys that if you want to list properties in northern Colorado, Fort Collins, or something like that, and you want to make sure that your listings are getting shown,
Right.
you don't have to join Iris to do that. So they'll
is
be
great.
sharing the data again.
Yeah, everything will be syndicating out. So
Yeah. So
yeah, and there are no changes with PPAR at this point. So if you
Right.
guys are agents who are working in Colorado Springs, there is not that reciprocity with sharing data down south, but we now have it up north.
But we have it
So
up
that's
north.
a step in the right direction.
Yeah. So yeah, read the whole thing. It was sent out. So that's an interesting update. Paul, do you have anything that's happening that you're seeing in the office with people getting paperwork turned in, people getting paid on a timely manner? Any issues with that right now?
So everything is going pretty darn smooth. A quick update. It's mainly just me and Parker in here still, as you know, with the office being closed. Not closed. We're open, but you guys can still come in. But as far as paperwork, yeah, it's the same thing. Every now and then we run into those title companies who forget to follow your instructions of submitting the commission disbursement form and sending the settlement statements after you have a closing. So I think it might be just a good time to put this reminder out there that after closing, you have to follow up with the title company to make sure they send the settlement statements and commission disbursement forms. We don't know that you have a closing until those forms are actually sent to our payroll team. So you've heard that notification before, but it might be a good time to revisit that.
No, that's
Good
great.
suggestion, Paul. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And yeah.
Otherwise, smooth sailing.
Things are going smooth. Things are good. I was down at the office yesterday, and they're doing lots of remodeling in the office. Again, if you guys do come to the office, masks are required. We have hand sanitizer.
You just brought new hand
I brought
sanitizer
new-
in.
there you
so we're
go.
good to go.
Yeah, we're obeying all the rules that we have to obey right now, and we'll continue doing so until we're told to do something different. So,
Awesome. Thanks for
Yeah.
the updates, Paul.
thanks, Paul. So. Kenny's here early. I think I'm early because I think we hit those
Yeah,
things. I mean,
we nailed-
If we can spend most of this time with Kenny,
Let's do it.
let's do it. I'll throw out. We were mentioning listings and how we need listings. So I was talking with Steve Harder yesterday, and I think he's got 3 or 4 coming. Well, if one person I talked to yesterday has 3 or 4 coming, then a bunch of you guys must have them coming. And again, it's hard for us to share here virtually like we did in our live
Meetings, yeah.
So post them on the Facebook thread right here. So go ahead, share a link. Of course, put it on the regular page and make your own announcement. But while we're here in the sales meeting, go ahead and just post, I got this, and you guys chat along on the sidebar there. But I'm excited. I'm going to introduce you guys to a good friend, Kenny Parcel here. So Kenny, I'm enlarging you
On the screen.
on the screen. You're currently muted.
No one wants to enlarge me. It's good for radio.
Too funny. So I kind of gave a little bit of an intro at the beginning of our sales meeting, and to let you know what's going on here, Kenny. So we're on Zoom, you and I and Paul. And Paul, I think you've met before. He's my office manager. But we are live streaming to our private Facebook page. So you're not live streaming out to the entire world, just to our group. And this is our monthly sales meeting that we've been doing now virtually
For a few months.
and it's worked real well. And I've let people know that one, you're the incoming president for NAR, but more than that, you're just a heck of a nice guy. One of the busiest guys I know, both in just your business and with NAR. I said, maybe I said too much and said you fly like 300 days a year, or you're traveling 300 days a year for NAR, yet you're running a team back in Utah, killing it business wise. I mean, if anyone can share some nuggets of one, how you got into this business, how you continue to manage your business,
How you juggle it
how you
all
juggle it all.
and still have fun.
It's yeah, and you're giving, and we hear so many people trying to figure out in life, I need to say no more often. I need it, and I'm like, Kenny's the guy that says yes. I mean, I've never had you turn me
I do a better
down.
job telling people no, for sure. You all are too kind. One, for everybody listening, you're lucky to be working with a brokerage that truly loves you. Todd and Stacy are just as good as they come. So if you're going to be a winner, you got to be on a winning team. And so y'all are great. I don't travel as often with what people think, and I do a great job of telling people no, but you're kind. But yeah, start asking me questions. I'll answer anything today.
Yeah, so let's just go back a little bit. And how long you been in the business? And real estate's such an interesting industry. We get people from all over, different careers, different age groups, for different reasons they get into this industry. A lot of people find out that it's not what they thought it was. But what brought you into real estate, and how long you been doing this? But yeah, what instigated that move?
Yeah, so I'll try to keep it short and brief. Got my license while I was in college. So bought a house when I was on a football scholarship at Brigham Young University. Got married after the first year, so I had 3 years left on my scholarships. Thought, why rent? Let's own. My parents never graduated from high school, so I come from an uneducated family in poverty. But it made sense to, if I can have my house payment be as much as my rent payment, it made sense. Had a family friend that was a licensee, not a realtor. She wouldn't show us any homes, Todd and Stacy. She said, Kenny, you have great people skills, talk your way in. When you see something you want to buy, let us know. And so that's what we did. We don't qualify for much, so it didn't take very long to blitz the market. And this was before DocuSign electronic forms. So we called her and said, hey, we found a house we want to buy. She said, great, come to the office. She had it written up full price. I said, hey, we want to offer less. And she's like, oh, then I have to rewrite the paper. She goes, here, you rewrite half, I'll rewrite half. And so I'm like, oh, okay. And we got the plats, and lo and behold, we got it. Super excited to be homeowners, and no home inspection, no walkthrough, no seller's disclosure. And we closed and went on our honeymoon and came back on a Saturday, and 2 days on football started on Monday. The good white refrigerator was replaced by the lime green one that didn't work. The kitchen cabinets were taken, the air conditioner taken, the garage door was taken. And so when we called her and said, hey, look, we have a problem, she goes, no, I don't have a problem, you have a problem. And that was how I got into real estate. And it's horrible. So for the first 6 months, my wife and I lived out on a camping cooler. And so every night I'd go into the training room and grab some ice to come home to keep our food cold. Just we didn't know anybody, and we didn't have means to pay a couple $100 for a new fridge. And so and none of us would do that. Whenever our sellers take something, we always make it right. We buy a fridge, or we try to make it right. But I just kind of got the finger. And a couple years later, I got mono, lost some weight, and took what's called a medical. It's where they pay your schooling, but then you don't have to play. And I saw a little classified ad that said, don't be a licensee, be a realtor. And so I went and got my real estate license, and I wrote about it. My experience in a family science class, and my professor called me up, about 1,800 students. She called me up that night and said, my TA's sick, I stumbled across your paper, and I need to sell my house. I'm doing a job transfer to Ball State. And I said, oh, I'm not really qualified, I'm just a college kid. She goes, no, I can tell you're honest, so come by. And so I went through my first listing presentation to my college professor, and she gave me a shot. She never should have. And then she started referring me to two professors, and referred me to two professors. And when we got close to closing, when we were negotiating on our house, she said, I really need that extra $5,000. I looked at her dead in the eye and I said, I really need some extra credit for an A. And she said, you just asked me that. And I just kind of sat there, and she goes, did you? And I'm like, yeah. And she goes, go get me the extra $5,000. I'll get you your extra credit for the A. And I said, well, let's shake on it. And so we shook on it, and I took off. And asked for DocuSign everything, so I faxed some documents and came back, and the only A I ever got in college was out of my family science class where I sold my professor's home. So,
That's great.
she just referred me to two professors, and pretty soon I had all kinds of job offers. It was really important. I had two goals going to college: was get out of poverty and graduate. Since my parents never graduated from high school, I wanted to be a college graduate, and I had all kinds of offers to go work at corporate America. But by this time, I was a six-figure income as a college kid. Just kept doing it. And that was about 2,500 homes ago. So that's a long story. I tried to condense it. So.
No, that's awesome.
Great. And we've heard several people say, I got into real estate because I had a lousy realtor when I bought my house, and I wanted to be better than that.
Yeah, for sure. It happens all the time, unfortunately.
Yeah, and and some people try and I don't think they try. Some people make this too complicated sometimes. They think they have to have this amazing listing presentation or PowerPoint and just all
or know all the answers
know
before
all
they
the
start.
answers. So here you are. You didn't know all the answers. You're young, but what was the one or two things that you would say made people feel that they could trust you and work with you?
That's a great question. So when I was getting referred to other professors, a lot of times the professors say, "How long have you been doing real estate?" And you can't really say, "Hey, I've been doing it 6 months." They don't want an on-the-job training, right? And so I just say, "It seems like forever and a day. How long have you been a professor?" And they'd say, "Oh, I've been 10 years." I go, "Yeah, it feels about that long for me too." And then I just kind of go with, go with it. So I think for people starting out, or even for all of us, are you referable? Would you refer business to yourself? And if you don't, then you got to look inward and say, I need to change my model, or I need to get the hell out. Bottom line, you've got to be enough value that you're referable. And if you're not, then you're doing the wrong business. And so I think then you have to work hard. This is a hard business. If it wasn't hard, everybody would be successful. But you have to be, if it comes down to it, do you want to be motivated or do you want to be disciplined? I'll always take discipline, because discipline wins. Motivation doesn't last. And so for me, it's always just about being disciplined. You're always working hard. We're selling as many homes right now with the COVID stuff as we ever have. So my kids like to eat year round. So you got to figure it out. People have bills year round. So you just got to have something to be disciplined enough to get you up in the morning and get going.
So, I mean that's awesome. Yes.
Yeah,
I mean, the rah, woo, you're right. That burns out. And so disciplined. I like the word discipline. I haven't used that
We
much.
use consistent.
I say consistency. But yeah, disciplined. Yeah, that's a good one. So what would you say are the things that you do on a consistent basis that has helped make you successful? I mean, because so many people, they have a hard time waking up in the morning and knowing what direction to go in. And so they end up going in no direction other than around circles.
So here's the thing, I think with that, Todd and Stacy, and you guys are bikers and you guys are disciplined on riding that. I don't go anywhere where there's not a motor. So you all are more disciplined than I am. That's why you're more fit. Here's what I've been doing that I've loved since the COVID, because everybody's like, where do I spend my marketing dollars or this or that? And I'm going to do it to you all, and I'm surprised I haven't done it yet. I've been just going out to 10 people that I admire. And they're clients or not clients or just associates. But I just take a moment and I shoot them a text and say, hey, I was thinking about you. I wanted to share 3 things I admire about you. And I just list them out. Hey, you're a great husband. You're a great dad. You're extremely gifted with this or this and this. And I just do it and said, love you, hope all's well. And the response I've had has just been amazing. I've been doing it for the last 3 months, and it's just, you can't believe the amount of people just saying thank you. I'm not asking for business or anything. It's not that type of thing, but it's just being kind. I try to do 10 of those a day of just reaching out and saying 3 things I admire about people.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I had mentioned at the beginning before you came on that you're probably one of the you're extremely well liked in the NAR world. I mean, you're well known and well liked in the real estate world. And anytime I would see you or anyone sees you at an NAR function or something, you genuinely come up and say, how are you? And is there anything I can do for you? And not that it was your role to do anything for anyone, but you genuinely care about people, and you let those people know that. I mean, I think there's a lot of people that care about others, but they don't reach out. Mm-hmm. And you do reach out, and now I think you found a new way to reach out even more. during this time because it's hard to obviously get together with people. But receiving a text like that that would just really brighten someone's day. And I think a lot of us could use our days brightened. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
Uh-oh, did we all freeze?
Do we all freeze for a second?
Oh, I lost you there for a minute.
Oh, there we go. Technology.
Keep asking questions.
Yeah, you bet. Along, you're helping people, you're doing a good job, you're getting referrals. We have a lot of people that come up to me and say, "Hey, I'm thinking of building a team." And my response normally is, I see very few teams that are successful. A lot of people think that they want to get a team because this can be a lonely business, which sounds weird because we're working with clients, we're out and about, but there's a lot of time where we're behind the computer, we're searching for houses, we're previewing for homes, or you're not with people all the time. And so I see some people who want to build a team because they want a buddy to hang out with, and that doesn't usually work out because there's usually somebody who's dragging down the team. And so I'm not a huge team person, believer. I know there are some that work extremely well, and you have a great team. How was your team? Well, two things. What made you think I need to build a team, and how does that work? What's that look like?
Great question. There's 1,000,004 realtors across the country. And most people that try to build a team, they're thinking, well, can I build a team because I want the team to make me money? It doesn't really work. I think the counsel I give everyone, you need to hire a team, build a team when you're so busy and your quality of life doesn't work. And then from there, I wouldn't hire a buyer's agent. I'd hire an office staff and I found out real quick, I'm not great at a lot of things. And so I can hire people to do those paperwork and do those things that I don't want to do or that I'm not good at. And I can give better service to my client by having somebody do those things. So first thing I'd do, if you're so busy you can't keep your eyes straight, I'd look at hiring an assistant, an unlicensed assistant. Maybe you can split that up, or maybe it's a transaction per transaction you pay them, or maybe you split it up with a couple of the agents in your office. That's the first thing I'd do. And then when you have so many leads that you can't service those leads, you're getting paid a referral fee, and you think, I can do better, then I'd find a buyer's agent, find it a win. My people have been around for a long time, 10 plus years, 8 plus years. We just have a good time. We have a staff meeting Monday and Wednesday, starts at 7:30, and that's just the agents. By 8:30, our office, unlicensed office people come in. We just go through and talk about each one of our clients, what we need, kind of give marching orders. And then on Wednesday, we play a little game called Code Name. It's girls versus boys, and it's kind of silly, but we have a great time, and it's just some kind of unity. And after every staff meeting, no matter what, we go around the room and say what we're grateful for. And it's amazing to hear what people are grateful for. So
I love that. I mean, I didn't know your thoughts on a team, and what you said totally resonates with what I believe is, you got to be busy. You got to.
When you get too busy, that's when you seek help.
Yeah.
Sure, for sure. Well, y'all are smarter than I am anyway, so
No.
No, that's awesome. And I totally believe in hiring people to do the things that you're not good at or the things that you're not consistent at, and that's the great way to fill that void.
And I think it's a balance. Like for me, I don't need to make more money. I don't have to make more money. I have 3 buyers. People don't know I have 3 buyers agents, 2 office staff, and that's just our team. We sell 160 to 180 homes a year, and we always have somebody on call, so everybody can have a break. And for us, it's just a good number. If we're hitting those numbers, and I know if you're not growing, you're dying, and I get that whole strategy, but I don't want to work Saturday, I don't want to work Sunday, and I don't want to work nights. So, for us, we're all balanced, and we have a good time, and we cover for people, and it all works, and we're all happy, and we're doing well.
Yeah, and what I like hearing is that you really have set boundaries and how you want the quality of your life to look. And you've got a family that you like to spend time with, you like to work out. And so you're saying, this is what I want my day to look like, this is what I want my week to look like, and I'm not going to stray from that. And I think that's great because we really try and help agents find those boundaries, because so many people say, I work 7 days a week, I work 24 hours a day, I can't do this. And you're right, you can't do that.
Yeah, if you find out, you're always a little out of balance. For me, I always just try to point my ship back to true north. I'll get a little bit out for a day or two, and I'm like, you know what, I can't do it. So you have to do what you have to do, but you can't also just sit home and think, I don't want to have I don't have no clients, but I don't want to work more. Sometimes you just have to do what you have to do, and you have to grind it out, and you have to want to win. And so, whatever that looks like for everyone, go do it. But you have to be disciplined enough to make the plan and stick to the plan.
Awesome. That's great.
Yeah, yeah, and balance. I mean, that we are never like this. We are always.
So you always have to
You got to readjust. Yeah, but I like how you said if you're not growing, you're dying. And I've learned as I've gotten older that it doesn't always mean more money. And when I was younger, I think growing meant I have to do more business. I have to do more business. I have to do more business. And I think you hit the nail on the head with life. How's your life structured? What's that look like? What's your time look like? And that can be growth. Yeah, when you're growing versus dying doesn't always mean you have to be doing more business. Maybe you're doing a smarter business so that you're enjoying life more, and that is growth. When you stop thinking about moving forward and how you're growing your personal self, that's when you're going backwards. But if you look at your book of business and it's not more than it was last year, that doesn't mean that you failed. Let's look back and go, what did you accomplish? Did you get more time with your family? Did you get more time with yourself? And if you're doing that type of stuff, you're still growing. And I just think that's a good message for maybe younger people that are stuck in that I have to do more, I have to do more, I have to do more, because that will get exhausting and there's an end to that can't sustain.
Yeah, we've been around enough to see it. Somebody's going to hit burnout, they're going to go through divorce, they're going to have a horrible quality of life, or substance abuse to try to deal with the issues, and it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
And I did want to say, as you come up with your next question, if anybody watching has a question for Kenny, please type it in the comment section, and I'm just going to start going through there. So don't think that I'm disengaging by looking at my phone. I just want to see if anybody has any comments. So go ahead.
Yeah. So we kind of started how you got into the business, what made you want to build a team. At what point did you look around and go, you know what, I want to get involved with the board of realtors. I want to be. I mean, now you're so involved. I mean, you can't be any more involved than you are now. But it took me 27 years in the industry to really get involved with the whole board and to know what that's about. I have my own reasons why I didn't do it. Maybe a lack of knowing how I could get involved or what it really meant. And I think you have to bring people in. I think sometimes we feel like we're not accepted into the family. But what made you go, you know what, I want to get involved in this thing? And what was that like?
Yeah, great question. So who it was is Randy Smith, a broker in American Fork, Utah. He was the local board president. He called and said, hey, would you ever consider running for leadership? And I said, no. I'm a top producer. You keep doing what you're doing. I'll give my money to RPAC. I don't want anything to do with it. And before he hung up, he just said, Kenny, you've been blessed by this industry. It's more important than you. You got to give back a little bit. And I'm like, yeah, I appreciate it. I hung up. And then I'm like, you know what? It's probably right. So I called him back and said, hey, what's this commitment? He's like, you know what? You probably have an hour a week or so. I was like, I don't have an hour a week to give. And then, but I said, you know what? I can do it. And, I got into local board and then state president, and it kept going. But it's the serving at NAR are my best friends. I have my best friends that are back home that are just contractors, doctors, lawyers. But then I have my best friends that are the National Association of Realtor people, and they're the finest people on the planet. They're all different race, religion, color, skin, everything else. It doesn't matter. But they bless my life, and I can honestly say and it happens twice a day that somebody sends me a text and says, I need somebody in Topeka, Kansas. Who do you know? And I pass on the referral. It doesn't matter what city. I can always say, I know somebody somewhere. And there's no plagiarism in life. And so the best ideas I've ever come up with are somebody else's ideas that I've forged a relationship that they've helped me become more successful. So if you want to be successful and give back and help everybody else get what they want, inevitably you'll get what you want.
Yeah, that's awesome. And So yeah, the similar story. I mean, somebody brought you in, like same with me. I don't think there's enough of us to bring people in, and I think I have a lot of people on the sidelines that maybe aren't being asked. So how do you? What would you say to someone that hasn't been invited into the club to give back? How I've got 60 people watching right now. What would you say to say? Why should I? Why should I do this? And how do I get over the fear of, is this something that I'll be accepted into? I'm not
I don't
always,
know anyone.
I don't know them, or yeah.
Yeah, so that's the perfect thing. I think just because you don't take an interest in politics, don't think that politics won't take an interest in you. And just because you don't want to get engaged in the realtors on the local or state, don't think that they're not making decisions on you. And so, gosh, you have a voice. Everybody has a passion. Everybody has, professional standards, not my strength. There's so many brilliant people that are taking care of the professional standards. And so the most successful people I know across a million four realtors are the people that give back and engage. And the people that do that, they get more out of their business. And I am super effective because why? Because I hang out with super effective people that make me be better. So you only see what you see. And if you get involved, you'll see a whole lot better picture. And if real estate really is your business, you got to get engaged. Bottom line.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so that's a great segue into, where do you see NAR going, and what are our greatest struggles right now, that we're working on as an industry?
Yeah, the crazy thing is all real estate's local. So things are different in Utah than they are in Colorado. Last August, I was at the Florida realtors, and they said, "Hey, what do you see coming down the pike?" And I said, "I don't know." They go, "What do you mean?" I said, "I don't know." And I literally said, "I don't know if there's some virus that comes down that shuts down the industry, or a terrorist attack, or whatnot. But I do know this: tough times don't last, but tough people do. And I think realtors are tough, but you also got to find a way to do hard things. I tell my kids this every day, Todd and Stacy. If you only do easy things all day, everything will become hard. But if you do hard things every day, you'll find that your life becomes easy. And so whatever comes down our pike, get used to doing hard things, because then you'll find out, when the market was bad, 2008 to 2012, we got really good at doing short sales. Why? Because we did 400 of them. We were the experts. Were they hard? Absolutely. But they became easy. And so whatever happens in the market, we're going to adapt and make it happen, because that's what we do, and we're resilient. So what do I perceive for the National Association of Realtors? I don't know. How long does virtual and all this stuff happen? But I think we're relevant. I think if you're referable and you're valued, you're going to have a book of business. If you're lazy and do the bare minimum, want to get the least amount of work to get the highest amount of commission, you're probably going to become extinct.
That's awesome.
So we do have a couple of questions. The first one is, Kenny, have you seen anything unique to Colorado from the NAR national level?
Yeah, you all were quarantined for a lot longer than the rest of us. It's a lot of states were essential business, and so they could still go out and do the business, as to where you all were stuck confined for a long time. And so that changes on if you own property, who's paying rent, commercial leases, and all that fun stuff. But yeah, Colorado is a little bit behind the game. And we talked to Tyrone Adams, your state CEO, and we got to do a better job in the legislature to help people understand just how important what we do. We're housing, we're commercial real estate, we're farm and ranch, we're land, we're development, we're property management. We're essential. So we've got to do a better job, and you guys were lacking a little bit to get out of the gates.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. We've got another question. Is anything happening with the lawsuit we heard about for a while about how sellers pay buyers' agents?
Yeah, so that's still ongoing. What's going to happen? We think we have a great case. We think we're fine, but these class action attorneys, they have deep pockets, and they like to string things on, and we don't plan on settling. I don't think we can settle. So it's going to be a several year grind, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. think that's it for right now. If you guys have any other questions, go ahead and type them in while we continue to talk.
I'm boring people.
No, they're so engaged.
Yeah. What a great story. Good to see you, Melissa Maldonado. Good to see you, Kenny.
Yeah, we've got
Nick Pacone says hello.
Yeah, we've got a lot of comments. Thank you. This is great, Kenny. Yeah, what a great story.
People, just ask me whatever y'all want.
So yeah, any other questions that you had?
I'm trying to remember what I was going to say. Paul, I was talking to you about Kenny and questions we should have for him.
Love Paul, by the way.
Yeah, we all love Paul.
Paul's awesome.
Oh, you're sweet to say that. Good to see you, Kenny. Thanks for being on the call.
You betcha.
Let's see. Put me in the hot seat, Todd. Bear with me, guys.
I don't feel like you have to ask me anything. If we're done, we're done. So
Yeah.
But I'm happy to field anything.
Let's just ask the audience one more time here.
Yep, I just posted a quick. So what are you doing in your free time for fun? That's just my question. I'm always curious what you're doing.
Yeah, we're always doing something fun. We have a fun backyard with a couple of pickleball courts, full-length football field with lights, sand volleyball, pool, pavilion. So, with the quarantine kind of ending a little bit, we always house about 40 to 100 kids in our backyards on the weekend, which is fun. Create little pickleball tournaments and sand volleyball tournaments. It's always fun. Love to build, love to ride my Harley. And honestly, I like working. I like dealing with people. And it's I get up every morning excited. I get up at 4 o'clock every morning. I don't need to set the alarm. I just get up and ready to make something happen. So I always try to do three things. I always try to do something hard that makes me feel uncomfortable. I always try to do something fun that brings joy to my life, whatever that is. And then the third thing is I always try to do something for somebody else. So if I can do those three things, for whatever reason, I think God blesses me, and it's something new every day. Whatever those three things are, you get to pick them. So that's always just kind of how I base my day on what I do.
Great. Well, we've got some additional questions streaming in, so we'll take a couple more minutes of your time if you have it.
Great.
So one of the questions from one of our newer agents is, what's your greatest challenge? What was your greatest challenge when you were a new agent?
Yeah, so I think the greatest challenge is always yourself. It's all a lone and dreary world out there starting out, feeling insecure, and are you smart enough? And it's the most American thing we do. You're the first to go to work, last to go home, and last to get paid. I mean, it's like apple pie, right? The biggest challenge is just with yourself to keep driven and focused enough to stay engaged, because you can make it. If you work in this business, you can be successful. If you sit home and keep working on your system, but not work, it's pretty tough. And we've had a lot of downtime. And what have people done to make themselves more successful and better themselves to position in the market? Mm-hmm. And so you always got to be better today than you were yesterday, better tomorrow than today. And so for that new agent, I'd say just keep pushing forward, keep looking for opportunities. For me, I was starting out, it was easy because I was a retired college football player. And so when I'd go to the professor's office, I'd say, hey, who's your favorite player? And they'd say Shea Muirbrook. And I'm like, oh, great. And so I just make a mental note. And so the very next day, I'd see my buddy Shea Muirbrook, the All-American linebacker, and I'd have him sign something to the professor, personalize it. And I'd stop by and say, hey, this is from Shea Muirbrook. So I always just try to gauge when I'm talking to people. Even today, if I hear something, I'll just make a mental note and then try to surprise them and exceed their expectations. So they're like, oh my gosh, this guy really does care about me. So
that's great. We've got a question from Nick Bacone. How did the lessons learned playing Division I football prepare you for a professional career that by definition includes competition every day?
Yeah, I think, for me, I was always the athletic kid growing up, and I was always a poor kid. I grew up in poverty and found my meals sometimes out of the trash can, as a kid growing up. So I never had a new pair of cleats or new pair of shoes until I got into college. The university provided them for me. So for me, I just think you're always grinding. You got to outwork your competition. Somebody's always out there that you're going to be competing with. You're competing against yourself. There's always somebody you're going to compete with at a listing presentation. And are you that expert? Are you the expert in the market? Are you familiar with 1031 tax deferred exchange? Are you competent enough that the client says, oh my gosh, this person knows what they're doing and they're likable? I teach every once in a while at Brigham Young University. They have me come back to the business school, and I always say the number one rule for me in negotiation is likability. And there's no proven fact, but for me, that's likability. You've got to be likable to your clients, because if you're likable, they're more apt to use you and refer you. If you're knowledgeable but you're not nice, the chances of them referring business probably isn't great to you. And so for me, goes back to what Nick said. The coach isn't going to play you. You can be the very best player, but the coach isn't always going to play you if you're not likable. If you're the kid that's out there hustling, if you're the kid asking the coach to help clean up, you're the first one there, last to go home, coach is more likely to give you an opportunity. But when you get that opportunity, you better be ready. And so when you get that call for the listing presentation, you know what? You better have perfected your scripts and dialogue that you're good at what you do. Because if you don't, you're going to miss your opportunity. And you can be dead broke in this business and make a ton of money quick. And so it's how you perfect your craft.
That's awesome.
Very good.
Yeah, that's great.
So I like this question. How are you doing 160 transactions a year? Do that many people move, or is there just a lot of building there?
I think everybody just kind of does the cycle. There's always a job transfer. And I think also, you know what people need to be prepared for is if the unemployment rate's 15%, is really 20. And once we get the COVID government money, how many people are going to have loss of jobs and how many people are going to have to transfer? And so there's always somebody out there. The good and bad about this thing is you're never off. If you go to your kid's soccer game, you're always somebody's wanting to talk real estate. If you go to the kids' football game, you go to PTA, if you go to your church, everybody's wanting to talk about what's going on with the market. So you better have a pretty good idea of what's going on with the market, right? And the people that say they don't have time, I think, you know what? That's BS, because it's always opportunity cost. There's always something. If you want to watch Law and Order, great, but you just chose to watch Law and Order instead of doing X. There's always time. It's just what you choose to do with your time. You chose to sleep in 30 minutes instead of getting up 30 minutes early. So there's always time to be educated on your craft.
Yeah.
So,
and I think what I'm hearing from you is you take the opportunity to talk to as many people as you can. So instead of selling 50 homes a year, you're making so many different relationships and talking to strangers and working with your sphere all day, every day. And that just extrapolates those numbers.
Yeah, it's just good. I just try to be good. And if the kids parents drop off their kids at my place, I usually go out and shake their hand and let them know whose house they're at, and that we're going to keep an eye on them. And so where else are they going to go? I'm feeding their kids. They have to use me, right?
Exactly.
But I mean, that right there is huge, though.
Yeah.
So many people aren't engaged. They have opportunities to engage with others, but I don't want to have to talk to those people. When you could open up and engage others.
Todd, it's a people business, right?
Yeah.
And I always love asking people, hey, what can I do for you in your business? And sometimes I can help them, sometimes I can't, but I like listening to them. And inevitably, they say, what can I do for you? And then it's that dialogue of, no, I'm good. No, I never say that. Hey, I always could use the business. Do you know anybody buying or selling? Who would you have them call? And then you got to get them to cross over the threshold. I'm going to have them call Kenny Parcel. I'm like, great. My kids are hungry. Can I count on a referral this year? Yeah, absolutely. So then I just make it in my mind, and when I see them 3-4 months later, I'm saying, hey, I'm still waiting for the referral. We're over there eating beans and rice.
That's awesome. The proactive.
Yeah, so good.
I love it.
Good questions.
Yeah. What marketing do you do that has given you the greatest return?
That's a great question. We do 3 client parties, or we used to do 3 client parties. We do a Easter egg hunt, which is super simple for our clients. We do a swim party with our clients in the summer, and then we do an evening with Santa at the skating rink for clients. That's always been a good referral network for us. But I also just think, pick up your phone, shoot a text, ask people how they're doing, say 3 things you admire about them, and just leave it at that. And it's amazing what people will be thinking about you. And take the time to engage their kids. I always will text their kids if they do a good job or they hit a home run. I'll say, hey, what's Billy's number? And they'll say, oh yeah, here's his number. I'm like, just so you know, this, and so I'll shoot a text and I'll send it to Billy's dad and say, hey, this is what I sent their son. And they're like, oh my gosh, he loves you. And for you to take the time to send my son a text, you have no idea. And so Billy's dad, how more apt is he going to, do something nice for me?
Yeah, that's great.
It's just
I love that. So I'm not hearing farming. I'm not hearing for sale by owners. I'm not hearing expired listings. I'm hearing relationships.
Yeah, I love the people that do it. Stace, it's just not me. It's just not my. I just prospect different. I just try to be kind. I try to be kind to the guy that's changing my tires at the tire shop. I just want to be nice to everyone because regardless if they do business with me or not, that's the right thing to do. Always.
That's great.
We've had our top agents do panels and we ask them questions, what are you doing? We always get asked, what's the marketing? Everyone's looking for that special flyer or that wonderful drip campaign or that amazing website. And every single one of them, and you're the next one, says relationships,
client parties, connecting, calling, texting.
And you've taken it to a whole different level because it comes off so natural for Kenny to go, this is what I do, and can I count on a referral from you? I mean, you don't shy away from what it is that you do and asking people, can I count on you? And that's...
You get a commitment. And people, it's fun. Hey, my kids are hungry. They're like, no, we know where you live. I'm like, no, we're starving out here. It's a big joke. I'm like, I'm picking up cans. Price of aluminum's down. And so it's just a big joke, But for me, that's just my business model. That's what I want to do. It's just, I don't want to do all the other stuff. If you want to have a six-pack, then you better do some sit-ups and crunches. Everybody's looking for the magic pill, the magic diet pill, this or that. You have to put in the time. You have to work it. And if you don't, then don't feel bad that you don't have a six-pack because you didn't decide to not do the sit-ups.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
All right, we've got 2 more questions, and then we'll give you your day back. Everybody's so excited to hear from you. How did you generate leads and convert them to clients? And how does your team generate leads and clients now?
Great stuff. I mean, we do Realtor.com and we do the other stuff. We do call capture, but those just aren't as good for us as the other leads of just networking. Our networking stuff. Most CEOs in our county I'm good friends with, and so I just try to be kind to them and try to nurture a relationship. And inevitably they're going to say, let me introduce you to HR. I know we're going to have some headcount open and. Pretty soon then you're their preferred realtor. But then you know what, you better perform, because if you don't give good service, you're out. And if you can't just pound something off to your team members and then have them give bad service because you're out, they're a direct extension of you. And so you're just trying to stay up. That's why we have staff meeting twice a week, and so we can talk about clients, make sure they're doing a good job and exceeding expectations.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Great.
We'll get to your question here, Paul, in a second. Wendy Bailey down in Colorado Springs.
Yeah, she's got a great question.
Great question. I'm gonna paraphrase it. She's got a large office down there. She also sells, and now she's been inspired to get involved with the board. And I mean, she's the president, I believe, of the Women's Council, and she's now a director down there in Colorado Springs, and she is burning it on both ends. I can tell you, she's burning it on both ends right now. How do you manage, or how have you managed running your team, running your office, and your volunteerism, and then keeping your balance for what you like to do? How do you do it all?
You just try to do the best you can. Like I said, some days when you're out of balance, you got to circle back. I do a great job of just telling people no. I travel maybe 100 days a year. Everybody thinks I'm 300. It's hard for me to tell people no when I want to go, but I also have 4 active kids that I love them and I love their friends, and it's fun to be home. And so, you just try to find that balance. And if you get out of balance, then you got to take a step back. And sometimes, it's a client that maybe I don't want to work with, and so I'll give them to one of my buyer's agents. Say, these guys are probably going to be a little more high maintenance than I want. Do you want them? Yeah, we're slow. We'll take them. And so, it's got to know when to say, and I'll take a percentage of that. It's worth it to me. And so, for all of you that's listening, know when to send a referral. it's better to make 25% of something than 100% of something, and they totally consume your day and they're not going to be happy. And so know when to refer somebody that's maybe not your best fit for your business, and know which clients can only work show homes at night. And if you have two and you have all of a sudden six, refer the other four out so you aren't burning every night with clients. Only work with the ones that you want to work with and refer the others out. And people will be appreciative of it.
Yeah, great
That's
advice.
great. So, and I would add how we balance things over here is I don't micromanage. I mean, I've got a great team with Paul and Parker, and then of course my wife, and we all run the company. We sell houses, and we enjoy the good life, as you say. We definitely like to enjoy our free time, and I don't micromanage. Like I said, I've got a great team, and I trust them, and I follow up. But it doesn't. They don't take me a lot of time. How about your team? Does your team pretty much do their thing and you just kind of check in here and there, or are you on top of them? We heard about your
Mondays
meetings.
and Wednesdays.
No, we don't do it anymore. With my office girls, a lot of times too, they'll say, "Hey, what do you think?" And they're waiting for me to solve the problem, and I'll just refer it back and say, "What do you guys think?" And let them buy into it. And if it's something that I don't want, I don't think it's the right way, I'll say, "Well, that works, but have you ever thought about this?" And they're, "Oh yeah, that's so much better." I'm like, "Yeah, well, I've been doing it, I'm old. I'm somewhere born between the invention of fire and the iPad. That's how old I am. So I've been doing it a long time. But sometimes just letting your people buy in. I don't want to micromanage anybody. That's just not it's not my skill set. I want people to do their job, and I'm going to do my job, and we'll circle back and make sure we're all on the same team. But don't micromanage. And if you're the micromanager, then you're probably not. Then you got to work on your leadership. Leadership isn't always about being the best. Leadership is about making everyone else better. So
That's awesome.
Right.
Hey, Paul, go ahead and unmute yourself. I can't find your chat, so go ahead and ask the question.
Of course. And Kenny, I just want to say thanks again. This has been awesome. And I've taken so many I think we all have taken so many one-liners and just motivational sentences that you're just throwing out there. I love them. My question, it's been insightful watching Todd as the chairman, 2 years ago now, for our local board here. And there are always problems to solve, locally, nationally. And for example, one of those items that Todd worked on was the implementation of electronic lockboxes here locally in Colorado. And this got me thinking, what are some bigger picture issues, maybe nationally? You can boil it down to maybe one or two or three. What's the one thing that you're trying to accomplish or solve or improve as the president for NAR in 2021?
Well, I'll be president in 2023, so I have a little bit of time to figure that out. But I think MLS is a huge issue. It's the single most important thing I use in my business every day. We're pretty spoiled here in Utah, but you can take some associations in California, all where one county may be members of 8 MLSs. And so they're paying 8 MLS fees. And then if they sell one house, then is that one house or is it eight houses? And then they're trying to create the data, and then they're paying somebody to put 8 different solds in. I mean, it's just a nightmare. So some consolidation will be a big deal. Electronic notary, that's a big deal going on right now, especially with the COVID. It'll be interesting how, with the COVID, how this changes things. It's harder for me when I meet a client. I'm usually a handshake and a hug. And so now I'm kind of, asking people, hey, show me where we're at. I'm usually a hugger, but if you don't want to. And so, you got to people have boundaries. And so you have to follow it. But I think the lawsuit's a big deal. I think professionalism is a big deal. When the market starts to change, I think it always creates the worst of people, and people start to, grab the life preserver and because they're worried about me. But the fact is, there's enough business for everyone out there, and there's as much out there as you want. And I always tell people, the best way to predict the future, go create it, and go create your future. Don't wait for somebody else to tell you to be successful. Go out there and go make something happen yourself. And you know what? When you kind of have that mindset of, I'm going to bite my lip and do hard things and make something happen. I want to go buy a boat. Guess what? We have the tool to go buy a boat, go sell some houses and go make it happen and be disciplined enough and set a goal and make a plan. And if you execute the plan, and if the plan's not working, then alter the plan. During football, you're always changing the play, always changing the play. And the people that go through the whole game plan, the whole game, they end up losing because they don't alter it. And so you always got to be altering your game plan, even though you have a plan. So anyway, I'm rambling.
It's great. Thank you.
No,
Awesome.
I think that
Yeah.
I think that's a great way to end this too. Is yeah, you got to adapt. You got to adapt. You got to be disciplined. I mean, like Paul said, you had so many great one-liners, nuggets here, Kenny, and uplifting for me.
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah, we learned something. It's always fun
Yeah.
to just to see you. You bring
Bring
us
a
You guys are
positive
great. You're some of the finest people on the planet. I've always loved you. You're always just down to earth. Whenever I have a problem with equity, I always call Todd, even though he's not my broker or anything, just because he's in the business and Stacy's in the business. I know they love you guys. So, I love that you care about your people and they care about you. And because at the end of the day, you can make as much money as you want in this life, but if you don't have the friendships and the quality of life and the memories, it's not worth it. So you could die broke.
Well,
alone.
thank you so much,
Yes.
Kenny. We're just getting people posting
Yeah,
right
yes.
and left. Thank you. Thank you. So inspiring, so uplifting. This is great. So yeah, you bring a wealth of knowledge to the table, and we're so grateful and appreciative for you.
Well, y'all are kind. If there's anything I can ever do, holler at me. If not, I'll have you back whenever it's convenient. But seriously, thanks for being you guys, and thanks for what you're doing. Not just for the equity in Colorado, but just for good people all across the country.
Awesome.
Thanks, Kenny.
Thanks, Kenny.
Have a great
Bye.
rest of your week, buddy.
Thanks,
Take care.
guys. See ya.
Bye bye.
Oh, you can always get something
Yeah.
wonderful out of Kenny when he speaks. I mean, I jotted down
Yeah.
up here
Yeah.
so many things. I'm like, oh yes, we've got to use this catchphrase. This is great. I love it.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, Paul, maybe look at your notes. I'm gonna have you do a quick recap and just kind of tell us some of the things you wrote. But I'm gonna look at what we had to do here real quick and make sure that
Make sure we got our,
it and everything. So
Yeah, so I'm going to botch. I can't say it as cleanly as he said, but the message he tells his kids that you can do a bunch of easy things and life will become hard. But if you do a bunch of difficult things, life will become easier. That one hit
that was great.
hard.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
That was
I love
so
that one.
good.
That was probably my favorite thing. And then the comparisons to football and working the plays and being on our toes and things of that sort. Yeah, I'm just trying to solidify them and replay them in my mind now. But those were my big two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
That's
thanks.
great.
Thanks for sharing those. So let's
Of
see
course.
here. So Ed Kenny, thank you, Kenny. And I got to tell you, he'll be the president in 2023. This has been Kenny joined Equity now. It's been, I'm thinking, 8 years ago. And when we first had Kenny join Equity, we were talking back then that he'll someday be the president of NAR. And it's a very long process. We're talking, this is like a 12-year process for him to get there. It's amazing how much time and effort he has put into NAR. Invested.
So he'll be the vice president for 2021, president in 2023,
Yeah.
and he will be a great representation.
Oh, he'll be amazing.
Yeah.
Just
So.
amazing.
More to come from Kenny in the years ahead.
Yeah. So speaking of amazing, here's our amazing award winners
Yes.
for May 2020.
You guys are the resilient ones that sold houses in April.
Yeah,
with closings in May.
Yeah, exactly. You were writing them the deals in April, and I was sending you text messages
Sight
in May
unseen.
going, "You guys are the pros. If you can do business now, you are the pros." And so,
Yeah.
super proud of everyone for forging forward. Denise Dixon, top sales volume at 1.9 with 2 transactions. She did 1.9. That's always fun
That's
to
great.
do those big deals. Those I call those. That's gravy. The bread and butter out of that 400 to 600, even the 200s if you can find some. I saw some of those written up the last few days. But you hit those big ones. That's gravy. That's fun. That's good for you, Denise. Lori Sanders, 3 transactions. Jim Opperman, Power Pro. So everyone else is Power Pro. Jim Opperman, Mark Baker, Brooke Havermat, Blessed Barak, Karina Podensny, Kathy Harder, Nick Coram, Will Davis, Priscilla Welch, Ricky Lee Pollock, and Larry Clark. So congratulations to you guys. Sorry we're not all meeting for lunch. Those days will come back. But right now, just wanted a big shout out for great job. Well done.
Yep.
Some Power Pro announcements. We'll send you your electronic certificates so you can post these onto Facebook and put them in your listing presentations. Let clients know that you're out there helping, doing transactions, and then as we all know that our luncheons are still on hold right now. So, anything to add to that, Stacy?
No,
Okay.
You're good. I have seen. Go ahead.
Sorry about that. Go ahead, Stacy.
No, I was going to segue into the next thing. So
I was just going to quickly say, if there are power professionals watching, if you want to take a picture of yourself with your certificate, we would love to use that on social media. We can't obviously do that like we do in the sales meetings, but if you feel comfortable, we would love to promote you on our Facebook page and tell the world about your accomplishments. Feel free to send those to me or Parker, and we'll happily do that.
that's a great idea. I love that.
Awesome.
Yeah, very good. So I was just going to say, I've seen several of you posting some of your new listings. So at this time, if you haven't already posted in the comment sections, go ahead and start promoting your properties, whether they be coming soon or whether they're already active and on the market right now. So
I'm looking at Sandra. I've already sent out 5 inspiring texts to clients since I've been on this meeting.
Oh,
I love
so
that.
good.
I mean, huge takeaway. I mean, what are you doing? How are you marketing? Let's reach out to people. And that was just awesome what Kenny shared. And if you just signed on, you're like, I don't know what we're talking about. Go back to the beginning.
And watch.
Go back to the beginning and watch. And as always, Paul will take this. We'll condense it a little bit and make it available on YouTube and on the Facebook channel.
I can't wait to see everyone.
Yeah, we sure miss you guys.
We do. We miss you.
Yeah, that's all I can say. We miss you. So whenever we can get together, and I still think we're a ways out.
I still think we're a few months out.
But when we do, we'll do a big party. We'll do something fun. But we won't do it until we're all feeling good and all feeling comfortable.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Safe, healthy. And then typically in July, we do not host a sales meeting.
Yes.
So we will not have a meeting in July, and that's normally because kids are out of school. And you
people
guys are out vacationing.
I think people are vacationing though. I-70, because you guys know we live up in Genesee.
It's busy.
It's busy. I-70 is busy, which means people are getting the heck out of town and going and enjoying the great vast outdoors.
So go camping, go hiking, get out with the kids, get some fresh air, enjoy the nice weather that we'll have coming up in July. We won't have a sales meeting, but we'll regroup again in August. It will most likely not be in person. It will be online again, and then we'll kind of reassess and see how the fall's looking. But yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you guys so much.
Thanks for being here. Yeah. Thanks, Paul.
For putting together a great meeting and an agenda.
Yeah.
Of course, thank you guys. Nice job as always. And like Todd said, we miss you, everybody. Call us if you need us. We're here. And looking forward to seeing y'all soon.
All right.
Oh, one last shout out. You guys, if you're calling the hotline Wednesday through Friday, you might be getting Paul quite a bit.
That's right.
And Paul, we're training Paul. Okay, we're all growing. We always want to be growing. So we're training Paul, answering questions, and I'd say right now he's answering about 60% of them, because a lot of these questions are kind of mundane. We get them a lot, so
we know the answers.
We know the answers.
Not that they're mundane questions and shouldn't be asked.
No,
but
we just get them a lot,
so they're recurring.
Recurring.
Yes.
That's even better.
Recurring
questions. So he's got the answer immediately. If he doesn't have the answer immediately, he brings the question to us, and we give him the answer, and then he gets back to you. And this is how we're training and growing and learning. So don't think, oh, Paul answered the phone and he's not going to be answered. He might not be able to answer it, but we'll get the right answer to you. So this is just a growth opportunity for everybody.
Exactly.
And he's doing an amazing job.
Yeah. And I do say, I talked to a couple people earlier this week, and when I answered the phone, they weren't nearly as excited to hear from me as when Paul. And I was like, oh, well, I'll put Paul on the phone. So
that's not true. That can't be true.
It is so true.
Well, you get to see what it's like for me. Yeah, it's like Todd hasn't answered the phone forever. Now he answers it occasionally. It's like, oh, really? We got Todd? We wanted Stacy. Well, now we got Stacy.
Now we want Paul. So anyways, we're all tag teaming, but we're really excited that you will be getting that wonderful voice of Paul on the other end Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So make sure the questions aren't coming directly to me. They go through the support line, because I'm not checking their emails on certain days. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're,
You won't get your question answered.
yeah, got to go through the support hotline
Yes.
so that we know how that is all deciphered and sent to the right people so that really we can actually have an hour off here and there.
Yeah, that's
So,
what our goal is.
Yeah. Anyway,
Awesome.
Quickly, just say thank you for your patience as I learn, and if I can't answer your question, I will at least ease your troubles and help you stress less. So that's what you will get if I do answer, if I can't answer the question. So thanks in advance for your patience, everybody, and thanks Todd and Stacy for the opportunity here. Looking forward to it.
Of course. No, this
cool.
is awesome.
All right, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your week.
Have a great week.
See ya.
Bye.
Later.
Bye.